Okay, the clock has struck 3, so I guess that is the opportunity for us to get started. Welcome everyone to the webinar today on how to improve your inventory management as part of the ClicData Data and Retail webinar series. My name is Fergus Lover. I'll be hosting the webinar today, and joining me are Diana Peralta, who is a Senior Corporate Finance Advisor at Scrubbed, as well as Francis Illustre, who is a Senior Business Intelligence Analyst at Scrubbed. Welcome, guys, and thank you for joining. I'll start off with a bit of housekeeping. Just wanted to check that everyone could see the screens okay, see the slides they're going through, and do a quick check on the audio. Check 1 2 1 2. Also, this webinar will be recorded, and a recording will be made available to you afterwards. So if you have to drop off at any point for any reason, the recording will be made available to you after, and that will be available on our website and also on the ClicData YouTube channel. We do have a question box for you in the bottom right of the screen. If you have any questions kind of throughout the webinar that you'd like to be answered and feel like we're not covering certain areas, please do put them in there. We will endeavor to answer as many of those as we can. So at any point, if you have a query, just please feel free to put it in the chat. You can also tweet to us as well during the webinar if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to respond in that way too. Okay, so covering on today's session would do a quick intro to Scrubbed and ClicData. Context is important, good to find out who we are and what we do. Then we'll move into the main part of the webinar, where Scrubbed will be taking you through some dashboards, showing you, how they came to that and demonstrating the metrics that they're displaying on there. And then at the end, as I said, we'll have some time for Q&A. So yeah, that's kind of the agenda for today. And I'll kick off and do the introduction. So I'm Fergus Lover. I'm the UK Business Development Director here at ClicData. ClicData is a software platform, and we are an end-to-end data platform that provides powerful insights into businesses to enable them to make better decisions and faster. We integrate with any data and fast to help save time and provide cost savings and additional revenue opportunities, and have worked with a variety of retail and commerce brands of all sizes to help them do more with data. And with that, I'll pass it over to Diana, who will take you through a bit about Scrubbed.
All right, thank you so much, Fergus, for that nice intro. So again, I am Diana. I am from Scrubbed, and just a few words about our company. So Scrubbed is an outsourced professional services firm. We're a team of more than 800 professionals, 70% of which are CPAs, and we provide services related to financial accounting, corporate finance, tax, professional firm support, and business support services. So we have several locations. We are headquartered in San Francisco, California, but we have operations here in the Philippines. So to date, we have served more than 1,200 clients across different industries. So again, I am part of the corporate finance and advisory group, specifically the data visualization team. And our team has served various retail and e-commerce companies. And one of their biggest concerns is how to manage their inventory more effectively. So clients that come to us usually struggle in finding out what their current inventory status is, whether they are fulfilling their customers' demands efficiently, and then in terms of purchasing, which products to order, when to order, and how much to order. So, to address such problems, we offer dashboard solutions to our clients using ClicData. So, with ClicData, we can customize our service and our recommendations to them according to their needs, capabilities, and requirements. So, to demonstrate how we help our clients improve their inventory management, so we will walk you through a sample case study. So let's go through the context. So, for the purposes of this discussion, we are assuming that we are looking at company ABCD, which is an online bookstore selling to both B2B and B2C customers. So, the data set is a dummy data set of books inventory related to purchasing, sales, and fulfillment, collated again for demonstration purposes only. So the source of this data is a cloud-based ERP. To be specific, their systems, if you're familiar with that, that's an inventory management application. and we were able to connect it to ClicData via the web service connector. So the product names that you will see in the data set are real books, and the customer names are the authors. So next, the challenges of the company that we aim to address is to help them figure out what is the daily status of their inventory, and then how efficiently do they fulfill their customers' orders, and then what products should they replenish. So, to address such challenges, we will walk you through three dashboard recommendations, and they are: first, the inventory summary dashboard, the fulfillment dashboard, and then last but not the least, the ABC analysis dashboard. So, at this point, let me turn you over to my colleague Francis, who will walk you through these dashboards.
Thanks, Diana, for the introduction to the dataset. I'm sharing my screen and I'm using my browser to access the dashboard. The look and feel of the dashboard is similar to how websites are currently designed for ease of use. The dashboard shows live data as of today, as seen in the date up top, September 22, 2022. The data is connected via a web connector, as mentioned by Diana. And this data refreshes on schedule. It can be weekly, every 2 days, daily, or at specific hours. The first dashboard I'd like to show you is the inventory summary dashboard. The questions this dashboard answers are: how much inventory is on hand? What are my top SKUs? Am I regularly fulfilling my customers' demands? Am I storing too much inventory? For this particular scenario, the metrics that you see displayed here are the ones deemed suitable for the stakeholders' requirements. If there are sets of metrics that are more important to other industries, the dashboard can adjust accordingly. The dashboard is very customizable in terms of what data the stakeholders want to see. Going back to our case study, the stakeholder wants to see the following metrics: number of SKUs, on hand in units, on hand in dollars, order fill rate, out of stock rate. Here is a bar chart of the monthly inventory turnover. This metric shows you how many times the company sold and replenished its inventory for a particular month. The orange line is the industry average for bookstores, and the green dotted line is the internal target. This guides you on the trend of your inventory turnover and how you can compare to the industry average. Next to it is a table of the top 10 selling SKUs based on revenue. The SKUs here are ranked from 1 to 10. We merge this with other data such as the SKU's average monthly sales on hand and on order. This way, at a glance, you can determine if you have enough inventory of your best selling items. For example, rank number one SKU of this bookstore has an on hand of 642 and an average monthly sales of 444. In a month's time, the on hand can drop down to around 200. There is nothing on order for this item. Should we place an order now? On the bottom left of the page is a bar chart of the top 10 aging inventory by category. If you hover over on the red colored bar, it is clear that the travel category of books are moving very slowly because the category has significant units of books aging above 180 days. So these products had been stuck in the warehouse for at least 6 months. What is the issue? This warrants further investigations, but at the very least, the graph showed you something important to deal with. To the right of this graph is the inventory status and location. So this graph is useful for businesses with multiple warehouses and you would like to monitor each of their usage. Here you can see how many units are available, also allocated, and then on order. So for warehouse A, there are a lot of units incoming, and the staff there should be ready to receive some items. So the next dashboard is all about fulfillment. There are three tabs under the fulfillment dashboard: the status summary, fill rates, and other fulfillment details. In the status summary tab, you can answer the question: how good is the company in fulfilling orders? Sales orders have fulfillment statuses, and it is possible to view them by sales order, by total quantity, or by dollar amount. We can read here that from this period of June 22, 2022 to September 22, 2022, of the $5.3 million worth of orders, this bookstore has fulfilled $5.1 million worth. 63.4 thousand are in the shipped status, and 36.9 thousand are in the not fulfilled status. If you're wondering why these numbers don't add up, there are other fulfillment statuses like partially shipped, partially fulfilled, picked, and packed. However, for this dashboard stakeholder, these metrics matter the most. When you click on a metric, say, for example, not fulfilled, because you want to know the number of sales order that the company has yet to fulfill, the table below shows you in detail what orders these are. With the sales order view, you can check what sales order haven't been fulfilled yet. With the SKU view, you can check what SKUs cannot be fulfilled. The answer to the question of why this happens is for another deep discussion, but at least the problem has been identified. The next tab is the fill rates. This dashboard answers the question of, are we fulfilling most of our orders per day? This bookstore company has set its target to have a 95% fill rate. From the date range of August 1, 2022 to August 31, 2022, the bookstore has a very high fill rate of 99.89% on average, which is 4.89% above target. To the right of this gauge is an area chart of the fill rate per day for the same date range. Note that the y-axis starts at 95%. The fill rate of the company rarely changes. The lowest is actually on August 26 with a 99.25% fill rate. Below is a table of sales order with their calculated fill rate. You can set the slider for the table to just show up to what percentage the table will show. Say, for example, we set this at 50%. The table will show the details of the sales order that have 50% calculated fill rate or below. In this example, you can immediately see that there are line items with the same sales order but different shipment dates. Again, that warrants further investigation as to why it occurs. The last tab is the other fulfillment details. If the user is interested in exploring the data using a different tool, the export button will download these tables to your computer. The last dashboard is the ABC analysis dashboard. So the ABC analysis is based on the Pareto principle to identify the best and worst performing SKUs. The questions this dashboard answers are: what are the products that contribute to the majority of cost of goods sold on a particular date range? Is there enough stock of the best selling items? What items aren't selling well? Note that the date range for this analysis is from August 1, 2021 to August 31, 2022. This analysis also used the distribution of 70%, 20%, and 10%. It is allowed to use other distributions like 80%, 15%, and 5%, depending on the company's preference. The A items contribute 70% of total cost of goods sold. That's $13.8 million in cost of goods sold. with only 868 SKUs. Compare this to the C items that only contribute 10% to total cost of goods sold, or $2 million. 4,058 SKUs contributed to that $2 million. What you want to do is to give more importance to the A items than the C items. This dashboard will help you prioritize your inventory management efforts. The SKUs are ranked, with number one being the biggest contributor to cost of goods sold. You can see the rankings in the table called ABC Analysis Details. Looking further at the bookstore's number one SKU becomes more insightful when merged with average monthly sales, on hand, and on order columns. Here's another example. The average monthly sales of this item at rank number 3 is 1,150 units, and there is 378 on hand. There is nothing on order, which generates the question of, should we buy more right now, even with additional fees to expedite the delivery? At the bottom is the Pareto chart that gives a graphical explanation of how much cost of goods sold are contributed by the A, B, and C items. So let me just hide cost of goods for now. Starting with the A items, the cumulative cost of goods sold in percentage rises dramatically up to 70% of the total cost of goods sold. This only took 868 SKUs. The next section are the B items. The cumulative cost of goods sold percentage goes from 70% to 90%. And there are 1,460 SKUs that contributed to this. Finally, the C items have so many SKUs, but only contribute 10% of the total cost of goods sold. So that's about it for the demonstration. Let me just go back to the slides and share the insights that we got from using this in our work for inventory management. First, visualizing inventory data helps one ask better questions to optimize the usage of inventory. In a short time, we were able to raise important questions regarding the inventory of this bookstore. Better questions lead to better discussions. Instead of holding a meeting with flat files, the entire team can explore the data in an interactive manner, and the stakeholders are able to prioritize important discussions. Next, better discussions lead to better decision making. So decisions can be crafted together as you explore the dashboard. And the next steps are easy to identify by the end of the meeting. So I hope you enjoyed a quick tour of the capabilities of ClicData when it is used for inventory management. Back to you, Fergus.
Thanks, Francis. That was very, very helpful. I really like the Pareto principle you applied to it as well. I thought that was very, very interesting. I know that it's a interesting concept and one that could be applied to a lot of things. So it's interesting to see that effect on kind of inventory management and how you can conduct that. We do have some questions in the chat. The first one here is ClicData able to take historical data and provide analysis prior to being fully integrated? The answer to that is kind of, in short, yes. The longer answer to that is, we can integrate and bring in previous data to add into your tables and reports before bringing the live data in, so that you can, work off the current data, but then also data that you've had in the past as well. The second question is ClicData able to delineate data by location for multi-unit retail operations in addition to a summary of operations? Again, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is any kind of points of data that you have that you want to report on can be done in ClicData. So if you wanted to do a location-based, you could do that. Going back to kind of the bookstore example, if you wanted to do that based on like genres, you could do that. Or if you wanted to do that based on publishers, I think they showed already, you could do that. As long as the data is in the system and you have it as a data point, you can create those delineated reports based on that. Diana and Francis, can you think of any further points to those two questions? I mean, that seem quite easy ones. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
you've
you answered
answered.
all of those questions great, Fergus.
Cool.
Uh,
Okay. Next question was, can ClicData be used to send active alerts when I'm low on stock for specific SKUs?
okay, so this is particularly very interesting. This is not something we've explored yet in
Hmm.
ClicData
Okay.
because showing the dashboard a while ago, you were really able to see things that you immediately need to uh, buy. So they're all already low on stock. It's easy to see.
Yep.
So right now we don't really see the need to send
Hmm.
active alerts because that's going to be a lot of alerts.
Okay.
So we rather suggest to the stakeholder to revisit the dashboard very
Okay.
Yeah,
often.
but
We
to
do.
add to it, uh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I think
we sorry. Carry on,
yeah,
Diana.
we do have email alerts that we can
Yes.
activate just in case they really want to see it in their inbox, like daily, for example.
Yeah, we can send active alerts based on conditions as well. So if you have a specific, you can set formulas on there. So if specific criteria are met that you set, then alerts will be sent out to you to say that you're running low on stock. The next one is. Can ClicData connect to a stored procedure? We'll come back to that question because I'm not too sure of the answer, but I'll come back to the person who asked that question on there. And there's a couple of other on here which I'm not sure of the answer to, but we can definitely come back to you once we've got the answers to that. We did have a few other questions on here as well. Um, so one of them was, can you use another basis of classifying SKUs in the ABC analysis, such as using sales instead of cost of goods sold?
Yeah, that's absolutely possible. Some people would prefer using profit actually if they can capture profit very accurately in their records, so they
Hmm.
can use that to rank the SKUs from what is the most profitable actually, instead of just taking a look at the cost of goods sold.
Cool. Okay. Um, what if my inventory or sales data comes from different sources? I mean, you've got Amazon, Shopify, other ERP. Would you be able to see them on a dashboard like we've shown today?
Yes, definitely. We can integrate the data from different sources and then transform it and then show them into one dashboard.
Okay. Um, and how long does it take to build a dashboard to get ready for use by the company?
Uh, yeah, it actually
Okay.
depends on the complexity of the ask or what they want to put in the dashboard. It also depends on the readiness of their data set.
Hmm.
So yeah, so typically the first portion of connecting it to the source and then transforming it would take the most time. But once it's there, it's in place, the visualization portion is much easier and faster.
I've got one other question here. What data sources have you used for these dashboards here at the moment? What are the data sources you've been using? Again, someone just wanted to go through that. I think we already covered it, but we can go through it again.
Okay, so the data comes from Deer. So Deer
Hmm.
Inventory Systems. So it's an ERP. So we connected to it using the web connectors in ClickData. So the data set are mostly on fulfillment, purchase orders, and sales. So we got all those data from Deer, and then we loaded up to ClickData before we did the transformation and the dashboarding.
Cool. Okay. I've got another question here. Is XYZ versus ABC matrix also possible? So can you do frequency versus volume as well at the same time? So how frequently stuff is being bought as well as the volume that they're being bought in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what's good about ClickData is their uh, data transformation capabilities are really strong. So whatever you need, you can just well, I use the view portion of the ClickData to do my transformation because using
Hmm.
T-SQL is really easy. So if you can do it in Excel, you most probably can do it in ClickData using uh, the view mode, so where you edit the T-SQL. So that would be really, really possible.
Okay. And then the next question was, as a consultant, do you deploy similar dashboards for other clients, or is it customized per client?
So far, we've been customizing it per client because
Mhm.
each client has their own preference on what they want to see. And even the look and feel, like the color scheme, we stay true to their branding as a company.
Okay. But then also in terms of things like if a client came to you and decided they wanted to do different things, they wanted to kind of use the basis of what you've got for their reports, but they wanted it presented a different way. They didn't believe in the Pareto principle; they believed in another principle. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
again, if you can do it in Excel, you could probably do it in
Yeah.
ClicData and just present it in a visualizing manner.
Okay. We've got another question. Will we need DIA systems to use ClicData? No, you don't necessarily need to use DIA systems. You can use any ERP that you want to connect to ClicData or any source of data. We have uh, lots of native connectors. I think 250 connectors built already, as well as multiple ways to connect flat files, and then also as well connecting to via our web service API. So if you have a data source that you want to connect to ClicData, sorry, um, we can connect it for you. We're not fussy on what data we take on here, whatever data you want. Um, any other questions? I'm just having a look on here to see if there's any that I've missed. There's a question here on general monthly fee for this platform. It varies depending on what you want to use it for. So it's difficult to say. I can follow up separately with you after the call to the person that asked that question. Okay. I guess. Oh, sorry. One more question we've got just before we go. Oh, sorry. A couple more questions. They're all coming in now. Now that we're looking at leaving. Are we able to export, print, or schedule emails for these analytics? Yes, you are. You are able to schedule emails based on parameters, or then kind of schedule email notifications to be sent out to people on a regular basis. You can then also export as well. Can I use ClicData for shipment tracking as well? Francis, Jenny, you're nodding, so I don't know if you want to take that question.
Oh yeah, as long as we can connect to your data, if your data is hosted somewhere, it's not a requirement to have Deer if it's in NetSuite or if it's in QuickBooks or you have another platform that stores your uh, data uh, for your shipping. Yeah, you can use ClickData. That's no problem.
Excellent. And then someone asked me the question earlier. Can you connect to a store procedure? The answer is yes. I'm being told now by someone in the chat. So the answer is yes, you can connect to the store procedure. But we'll follow up with you separately on that and the details on that later as well. Can multiple people in my organization work on creating dashboards, or do I need a dedicated license for editing? Dashboards can be collaborative if you want them to, although and then you can give them access to whoever you want. But if you want to create a dashboard on your own and then just grant access for people to view it, then you can do that as well. It's all dependent on how you want to do it, and the options for licensing are quite flexible. You can have kind of admins who create main dashboards and then have people who create smaller ones off the back of it. And yeah, it's all very flexible. Okay. If your questions didn't get answered, we will follow up with you after the webinar. But yeah, thank you very much, Diana. Thank you very much, Francis, for your time today.
Thank
And
you,
again,
everyone.
if you do have any further questions, you've got email addresses here for the Scrub team, and then an email address here for the sales team at ClicData. Any follow-up questions after this, please get in touch with us. We're happy to help and happy to answer any other questions that you have.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
And again,
so
thank you,
much,
Diana. Thank you, Francis, for your time
everyone.
today. Much appreciated.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for
See
this.
ya.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Yeah.